Hey guys, my name's Harold. I recently just bought this Chromebook from Asus, and before buying this Chromebook, I wanted to watch reviews on YouTube, but unfortunately, I couldn't find any. I think it's because this is one of the latest entry-level Chromebooks from Asus. That's why there's no reviews on YouTube yet. And so I decided to upload my own review so that others who might be looking into buying this product can benefit from my experience. So I bought this for 189 Canadian dollars. That's about 150 US dollars. It's cheap because it's open box. Open box means either it was a display item at a store that people can test, but mostly open box products are products that have been returned because the customer didn't like it, but it's very slightly used, maybe just used for a day or two, or maybe the customer just changed his or her mind and returned the product so they couldn't sell it as brand new. But there's nothing wrong with it cosmetically and functionally, everything's great. And it comes with a 6-month warranty, so you can still return it, have it replaced or repaired. So you don't really have to worry about buying open box products. This is the Asus C204EE, which comes with 4 gigs of RAM and 32 gigs of storage, which is good enough. I've been using this for 5 days now and installed a few apps, and I still have about 12 gig free. But I did install an SD card that's 64 gig just for additional storage in case I run out, but so far I haven't needed to store anything on the SD card. And the processor is the Intel Celeron N4020, which is from Gemini Lake, and it's performing really well. It's much faster than I thought it would be, although I expected this to be fast because it's Chrome OS, right? Everything's just web-based. You do everything on the Chrome browser. When you open YouTube, it will basically just open YouTube on the browser. So for that purpose, 4 gig is more than enough RAM, and 32 gig is also more than enough because when I opened this, when I turned it on for the first time, about 13 gig was already used from the 32 gig storage. And after 5 days, and after installing a few apps that I need, such as Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, just the basics. I still have 12 gig free, but I did buy an SD card that's 64 gig just in case I run out of storage, maybe for storing photos and videos. But so far, I haven't really needed it. So 32 gig is good for a Chromebook. Multitasking using this Chromebook is not a problem at all. I'm currently a college student and I attend online classes, so while having Zoom open or Microsoft Teams, I would have another browser open with a tab or three, and I'd have the Facebook app or the Instagram or TikTok or anything. I have multiple windows open, and it's not a problem at all. I can switch from one window to another without any hiccups. It's very fast. It's actually quite surprising how fast it is. The screen is 11.6 inches and it's good enough. It's 720p or a little over 720p. It's actually 768 pixels. It's not great by any measure, but it's definitely good enough if you're only using it for browsing or watching YouTube. It's definitely good enough. Not great for gaming, but I don't really play games, and this is not for that purpose. So if you're just doing emails and browsing and using it for school, this is definitely good enough. You can also swivel it up to 180 degrees. I don't know why anyone would want to swivel it this much, but I guess it's useful if you're doing like a presentation. The viewing angles are also not great but good enough. It's 200 nits, so it's not that bright if you're working outside. I've experienced attending class from outside the house when it gets too hot inside because it's summer right now, and it gets pretty dark when you're outside, but it's still manageable. 200 nits is it's okay. Another thing that I love about this product is that it's very durable. It was designed for school children, so it can withstand up to a 1.2-meter drop, and it can take up to 30 kilograms of weight. Not that you'd use it to carry a 30-kilogram dumbbell, but if it's inside your bag and it's a big luggage with lots of things inside, you won't have to worry that it will get damaged because it can withstand up to 30 kilograms. So that's really good because I'm actually very careless when it comes to my devices. I usually just stuff it inside the bag, and sometimes it does get damaged. But what I love about this is that it's very durable. It's rubber, so it doesn't collect fingerprints. So it looks great all the time, and it's very low maintenance. It's also spill proof, so you don't really have to worry about using this while eating. You can spill your juice or whatever on it, not intentionally, but if it does happen, then you won't really have to worry that it will explode or anything. And it comes with a USB a 3.5 millimeter jack for your headset, a slot for SD card, and a USB C. On the other side, you have the hole for putting your lock. The battery life on this is just amazing. Typically, I'd use my Windows laptop for attending online classes. My classes run typically for about 3 hours each meeting. And before the end of the 3 hours, I would have to charge my laptop. But since I started using this, I've never had to do that so far. I charge this once and use it for 3 days in a row for online classes, and I won't have to charge it while attending my class. So it's really great. The camera is only 720p, which is not really a deal breaker. Who cares if your image on your Zoom class is not clear? I personally prefer not turning on my camera while attending class, but some of our teachers like seeing us just so they can confirm that we're actually there and listening. But 720p is it's not bad. This laptop is great for traveling because it's very light. It's only 1.2 kilograms, so it's great for backpacking because sometimes when you're traveling, you'd have to open up websites, and some websites won't look great if you only have a 6-inch screen on your cell phone. So it's great to have this, and it doesn't really add much to your luggage. One thing that I haven't figured out yet about this is how to use the special characters. Maybe some of you can help me out with that. But like this, I can only use the ones on top by pressing shift, but there are other special characters here on the keyboard that I cannot make them appear. And also, there is no delete button, so I use backspace for that, but I'm used to having my delete button from my Windows laptop. And there's no caps lock also. That's weird. So you have to press shift. I haven't, maybe there's a shortcut for a caps lock. I just need to figure that out. But it's not a lot different from a Windows laptop. There's just a few keys here that are different. For example, you have your forward and back and refresh, and the button for maximizing and minimizing the screen, and another button for seeing all the apps open side by side. So it's not really a big difference from your typical Windows keyboard. You can also install Android apps onto this Chromebook, and most Chromebooks these days, I think, can now run Android apps, which is great. Although the apps might look a little weird because they're designed for viewing on a cell phone, and if you view them here on landscape, it's the sizes would look a bit weird sometimes, and sometimes they won't maximize. They can't be maximized to fill the entire screen because they're built to be displayed on cell phones, but it'll still work, and it doesn't look great, but it'll work, so you'll be fine. And I think in the future, more app developers would make their apps more compatible with using on a Chromebook also. You also have the option to run Linux apps on this. So if you're a little bit more techy, then you can turn on Linux. It's in the advanced settings. So you can run your legacy Linux apps if the web-based applications are not enough for you. You also get an extra 100 gig storage for free from Google just by buying any Chromebook these days. And you do that by downloading Google One. And lastly, let's test the speakers. This is now on full volume. So you see, it's not so bad. It's not great by any measure, but if you're mostly just using this for online classes and video calls, then it's totally fine. So overall, I am very satisfied with this purchase. I've been wanting to buy a Chromebook for some time now, but I just couldn't justify the purchase because I have a laptop, a Windows laptop. It's a Surface Laptop 3, which is pretty expensive, but I wanted to buy this mostly just for travel, so I can just put it inside my backpack before I go to work and not really have to worry about it getting damaged or lost because it's very cheap and it's also very light, so I can easily do that. So if you're wanting a backup for your laptop, because Windows laptops are more prone to crashing than this one. For Chromebooks, you can easily just power wash it and it will be good as new. You typically don't need uh, a antivirus for this or anything like that, so it's very convenient. So overall, I'd give this 4 out of 5, especially because of how cheap it is.